These are physical realities that, as a woman who likes women, you just can't ignore. So, Contra talked about this, I think, in one of her videos, but language like this, yeah, the burgeoning. Language like this is actually sexist, not just transphobic. Butch lesbians sometimes. Well, I'll say this much, okay? I've seen plenty of butch, cisgender lesbians who, if they approached a TERF, would have a bunch of accusations of being a man in disguise thrown at them. I'll say that much, okay? Okay. So who here heard about the BBC transphobic article from like a week ago? I'm sure at least some of you did. At least some of you did. This is that article. You know, you're not going to believe me, but I don't actually think it's the best article out there. We're being pressured into sex by some trans women. Nice. It's an article about lesbian women who feel they're being pressured into sex by trans women, you know? Phenomenal, like, discourse here. So before you get bored, we're going to dive into this and some very funny stuff that's happened afterwards. But one of the people who contributed to this document went so far as to type out an unhinged, borderline genocidal, transphobic screed that I think if I read out loud, I would get TOS'd. We have the red and black like blood splotch background to really capture how unhinged this is. But we're going to start from the beginning, okay? So there's this discourse about genital preferences that I think is completely unhinged and doesn't exist outside of TikTok. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I have never met a trans woman who, at any point, who has been weird about or pressured people who are into women but not into penises into having sex with the trans woman who has a penis. I've just never seen that happen. I haven't. Now, do some trans women do this? Statistically, it's inevitable. However, people from all sexual and gender like backgrounds sometimes are creepy and pressure people into sex, right? This is hardly a trans woman exclusive phenomenon, isn't it? Like it's like, well, there's a fraction of trans women who pressure people into sex despite not. Okay, well, there's a fraction of every group that does that. Jesus, I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying, you know, I feel like when you select for this in a way that makes it look like trans women are like the big problem here, you're being, you know what I mean? It's very weird. It's very strange why you would do that. But anyway, let's get into it. Let's take a look at that BBC article, huh? Quote: I've had someone saying they would rather kill me than Hitler. I've been there, 24-year-old Jenny. They said they would strangle me with a belt if they were in a room with me and Hitler. That was so bizarrely violent, just because I won't have sex with trans women. Nice. Jenny is a lesbian woman. She says she is only sexually attracted to women who are biologically female and have vaginas. She therefore only has sex and relationships with women who are biologically female. Jenny doesn't think this should be controversial, but not everyone agrees. She has been described as a transphobic, a genital fetishist, a pervert, and a TERF, a trans-exclusionary radical feminist. Already I can see the issue. Here, I'll give you guys a little bit of a cheat code to this discourse, okay? I think that genital preferences are valid. Dicks and vaginas are different. I'm sorry, guys. If you've been sleeping with women your whole life and you're used to vagina, and it's like, oh, here's a lady, but they've got a dick. Dicks are different. Not to say it's not something a woman could have. It's just different, you know? I don't think there's anything wrong. The issue is, oftentimes what you'll see, a lesbian woman will be like, yeah, I'm not really into penises. And people will be like, okay. And then the lesbian woman will continue by saying, because I'm only attracted to real women who are biologically women, who have biologically female pussies. And I'm not into fake women who are actually men with their penises that are men penises. And then people will go, wow, that was pretty transphobic of you. And the lesbian will go, I'm being called transphobic for not wanting to sleep with trans women? Like, this is like 90% of the time how this goes down, okay? Like every time this happens, it's like, I'm being attacked for this. It's like, well, no, it's, you know, it's adjacent stuff. Again, has it never happened? I'm sure it has. The genital preferences discourse is the thing that has happened in real life, and there are people who are weird about it, but you can be weird about it without being like rapey or like pressuring people into it. I don't think being weird about it is the same as like coercing people into sex over it. And of that tiny minority of a minority of a minority who do pressure people into it, again, I don't know how disproportionate that is. Might even be less disproportionate. Guys, I'll put it this way, okay? Trans women are way the fuck more self-conscious about how they come off when they are trying to cajole women into sex than men are, okay? Talk to a trans woman, okay? Men are like, yeah, dude, bitches love dick. I'm just fucking stumbling into the frat party. The trans women tend to be a hell of a lot more conscious about that stuff. Generally speaking, not all, often. But let's read the article, or we're going to take forever. There's that common argument they try that goes, well, what if you met a woman in a bar and she's really beautiful and you got on really well and you went home and discovered she had a penis? Would you just not be interested? Yes, because even if someone seems attractive at first, you can go off them. I just don't possess the capacity to be sexually attracted to people who are biologically male, regardless of how they identify. See, so this right here would be like the language that would get you called a transphobe, right? If you just say, I'm just not sexually attracted to people who have penises, I don't think people would really take affront to that. But the whole, regardless of how they identify biologically male stuff, aligns with, like, transphobic rhetoric pretty hard, so. Anyhow, I became aware of this issue. Several people got in touch with me to say there was a huge problem for lesbians who were being pressured to accept the idea that a penis can be a female sexual organ. Again, we're doing it again with the transphobia. So, if you're not attracted to penises, that's fine. But the way they keep describing this is like, a penis can never be female. Like the obsession with sexual differentiation here, like the sexual distinction, the markers, as opposed to just saying, I'm not into dick, is interesting to me, right? It's almost like their problem is more to do with the transness than the penis. Why are we even giving this stupid article attention? Because it got a huge amount of attention, and there's a ton of discourse over it, and you're an idiot. What do you mean? You think this article is only going to get attention because streamer Vaush covered it? Like what? Like, oh, this little known BBC article that only got a fuck ton of people talking about it with the consequences following from it. It has a good punchline, exactly, Celine. It has been difficult to determine the true scale of this problem because there's been little research on this topic, only one survey to my knowledge. However, those affected have told me the pressure comes from a minority of trans women as well as activists who are not necessarily trans themselves. One thing every lesbian deals with is straight dudes telling them if only they'd give them a chance, they might realize they're actually straight. Trans activists have that same energy. Let people date who they want to date. If someone rejects you, it's none of your business why. So, here's just a tweet, I guess. By the way, spoilers, this article is basically just a compilation of anecdotes from transphobes. There's not, like, any data here that we're gonna find. In case you were curious, you know. Anecdotes of people saying that they were... Oh, here we go. I know there is zero possibility for me to be attracted to this person, said Amy. I can hear their male vocal cords. I can see their male jawline. I know under their clothes there is male genitalia. These are physical realities that, as a woman who likes women, you just can't ignore. So, Contra talked about this, I think, in one of her videos, but language like this... Yeah, the burgeoning. Language like this is actually sexist, not just transphobic. See, what they call male jawline, male vocal cords, there are cis women who have what they're describing here, right? Like, if you have, who here has gone outside? I know a lot of you haven't, but if you have, you might notice that there are people who are cisgender and women who have deeper voices and like broader jaws. It's kind of crazy, right? Now, those may not be like stereotypically feminine characteristics, but a lot of lesbian women who look like that are like butch lesbians, right? I've been to gay bars. I've been to, like queer clubs or whatever. Butch lesbians sometimes. Well, I'll say this much, okay? I've seen plenty of butch cisgender lesbians who, if they approached a TERF, would have a bunch of accusations of being a man in disguise thrown at them. I'll say that much, okay? So if you go on Twitter, you'll see this all the time. You will see examples of cisgender women who are pro-trans getting accused of being trans by TERFs, and the TERFs are like, we can see your burgeoning jawline and your fat fucking your giant man hands in these pictures, and it's a cis woman. Like, it's just, sometimes it's like a feminine cis woman too. Like they're just making this shit up, you know what I mean? Anyway. Look, by the way, if there's like a trans woman who you're not attracted to, it's possible to be not attracted to them without being weird about it. You can just not be weird about it. That's a choice you have. You know what I mean? I felt very bad for hating every moment. Another lesbian woman, 26-year-old Chloe, or Chloe, as it's traditionally known, said she felt so pressured she ended up having penetrative sex with a trans woman at university after repeatedly explaining she was not interested. Okay. I felt very bad for hating every moment because the idea is we are attracted to gender rather than sex, and I did not feel that, and I felt bad for feeling like that. It I'm not really inclined to believe any people who would contribute to like a transphobic op-ed, but if this is the case, then you were pressured into it, then that's pretty like rapey, but I don't know what I don't like this also happens with like cis men and cis women, so I don't know what yeah, okay. Yeah, it's just a collection of anecdotes. Like you could if you were just pulling from anecdotes, you could like find tons of examples of like trans women doing bad shit, but you could also find examples of hey, well, spoilers, you can also find examples of cis lesbians being rather Joker like themselves, spoilers. It's been known to happen. Hearing about these experiences led one lesbian activist to begin researching the topic. Angela C. Wild is co-founder of Get the L Out, whose members believe the rights of lesbians are being ignored by much of the current LGBT movement. Lovely. She and her fellow activists have demonstrated at pride marches in the UK where they have faced opposition. I wonder why. Pride in London accused the group of bigotry, ignorance, and hate. Well, if I Google Get the L Out, which is a lovely name, by the way, I wonder what type of stuff I'll see associated. We stand against any kind of misogynistic politics and systems that prioritize men's interests. Queer politics and transgenderism, they're lesbians and they're against queer politics. Right-wing politics, left-wing politics, patriarchal religious institutions, men's rights activism, racism, and capitalism. So they're against queer politics, but they're lesbian. They're against left-wing politics and capitalism. They're against racism and left-wing politics. Not left, not right, but forward. Guys, I'm gonna take a guess that none of this means anything, and that the real messaging is actually right here. Lesbians are same-sex attracted. Lesbians do not have penises. Lesbians do not want to have sex with men who identify as trans women. I'm just gonna guess that this is like meaningless political jargon that they crafted up to sort of obfuscate the real purpose of the movement. And this is the actual oh, and a typo on the main page. Nice. And this is the actual thing they care about. Like, imagine having an activist movement where the first half of your front page is meaningless jargon and the second half is talking about genitalia. I don't know, guys. Anyway, apparently they've been accused of bigotry, ignorance, and hate. Can't imagine why. Lesbians are still extremely scared to speak because they think they won't be believed because the trans ideology is so silencing everywhere. Angela created a questionnaire for lesbians and distributed it via social media, then published the results. She said of the 80 women who did respond, 80 women on social media distributed from an organizer of an anti-trans hate group. 80 people, a sample size of 80 people from your, what, Facebook group? Hey, can we do a poll in chat? How many people think? How many people here think all the people at Get the L Out are rapists? Can we get a poll? I'm gonna publish this one. This one's going in the goddamn journal. The fucking poll isn't out yet, you troglodytes. There you go. There we go. I love democracy. Pile it in. Twos, weird champ. Imagine not believing every single one of them are rapists. Anyway, we're about to find out at least one of them are, I think. She said of the 80 women who responded, 56% reported being pressured or coerced to accept a trans woman as a sexual partner. Nice. They probably mean like somebody tweeted at them saying they were transphobic or something. Oh, 292 votes cast. With that one chat poll, we actually did nearly 4 times the sample size pulled from their group. Yeah, we need the BBC to publish this. Absolutely. While acknowledging the sample may not be representative of the wider lesbian community. Yeah. He believes it was important to capture their points of view and stories. Anyway, this goes on for a while. Okay. What I'm about to say is going to sound really fucking mean, But every single one of these women would be clocked as trans by TERFs on Twitter if they posted pro-trans stuff. This is exactly what I fucking mean. Just saying, okay? Again, I am legitimately not doing this as a dig. I'm only pointing out that their standards of gatekeeping are completely fucking arbitrary, okay? Holy shit, I have seen far more feminine people, far less butch women, be accused of being trans. Aren't TERFs just misandrists? Well, a lot of them are, yeah, and they project that hatred of men onto trans women because their hatred of men is biologically essentialist, so, yeah. Anyway, the person here in the bottom left is Angela C. Wilde. That's the person who did the research, so, yeah. Anyway, one compared going on dates with trans women to so-called conversion therapy. Nice. Another reported a trans woman physically forced her to have sex after they went on a date. Okay, that's rape whether or not it's a trans woman or not, okay? They threatened to out me as a TERF and risk my job if I refused to sleep with them. I was too young to argue and had been brainwashed by queer theory, so they were a woman even if every fiber of my being was Wait, hold on. They used physical force. Okay, well, yeah, if they used physical force, it's unambiguously rape. I never know. It's always so like you're always navigating a jungle of dog whistles with these people, you know? Anyway, transphobia, blah, blah, blah. Oh, nice! Here's Rose of Dawn, Blair White's understudy. This is the, Big Bull Seal, person. Trans YouTuber Rose of Dawn said some of her lesbian friends have been pressured to accept trans women as sexual partners. Pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me. I'll never understand how much you have to hate yourself to, like, be like, yeah, I want to be part of this article full of people saying that I'm, like, a rapist and also that I'm a man. It's a little strange. Not something I'd do, you know, but personal choices, I guess. Anyway, Rose talks for a while, and you can go watch any one of her videos if you want. Now we have tweets. Here's a tweet which was ratioed into mega oblivion. Let's see if there's anything wrong with this tweet. I like dick. Girl with dick says, hey, want a date? Oh no, I only like dick on guys. Guy responds to date ad, sup girl? Guy has a vagina. Oh sorry, I only like guys with dicks. Both cases, trans people are left in the cold. Genital preferences are transphobic. If this got ratioed into oblivion, wouldn't this be an indication that this idea isn't very popular? Because I disagree. Like, I think genital preferences are legitimate. If you aren't attracted to penises or vaginas, then that's fine. I think that's fine. But if this got ratioed into infinity, doesn't that mean this isn't like a very popular sentiment? By the way, I just want to say that I have a large trans following. There are a lot of trans people in my community, and legit, like overwhelmingly, they're on board with the idea that while you should be open and accepting generally, it's okay to have genital preferences. Like, overwhelmingly, right? I just want to say, by the way, oh, hold on, we still have the 1984 chat on, but we're well past the first 2 minutes of the segment. I just want to say, by the way, there, we turned it off. You can say swears now. I just want to say, like, I think more people would be happier if they were more open and exploratory with their potential sexual interests in terms of, like, both what they want to do with people and who they want to do it. That, like, process of boundary pushing is an internal thing that you should proceed at on your own pace. And if you're just not attracted to dick, then that's fine. 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 Trans athlete Veronica Ivy, previously known as Rachel McKinnon, believes genital preferences are transphobic. Thank you for the ratioed tweet from 2019 and the irrelevant departure from this collection of anecdotes. Rose of Dawn says some stuff, very nice. Debbie Hayton has been accused of propagating hate speech against the trans community despite being trans herself. Okay, thank you. Science teacher who transitioned in 2012 worries some people transition without realizing how hard it'll be to form relationships. Well, back in 2012, maybe. At least in major cities, I feel like it's getting easier and easier every year, right? Like, it's still probably much harder to find relationships as a trans person than as a cis person, but it's definitely getting better. That's nice. Also, isn't this also the case for lesbian women? Like, Nobody, what, like, oh, I want to transition, but it'll be hard to get a date afterwards. Oh, never mind, I won't then. I'll just live in my male identity for my whole. What are you talking about? What? You're trans. Do you know that? Like, what do you. Shut up. Jesus. Anyway, Stonewall LGBT organization, Pog Pog Pog. Very good, great, amazing, great, phenomenal, fantastic, thank you. Don't care, didn't ask, continue to not ask. Why does she think there's been so little research? I think research on this topic would be discouraged primarily because it would be characterized as a deliberately discriminatory project. Possibly. That could maybe be a thing some people might have some concerns with or about. Maybe, possibly. You know, if you think about it a little bit. Here we go. The term cotton ceiling is sometimes used when discussing these issues, but it's controversial. It stems from glass ceiling, which refers to an invisible barrier preventing women from climbing to the top of the career ladder. Cotton is a reference to women's underwear, with the phrase intended to represent the difficulty some trans women feel they face when seeking relationships or sex. What? Cotton? Doesn't everyone wear cotton underwear? Is my underwear not cotton? Don't we all... Isn't that like the most common fabric? Okay. I guess it's... Okay. The term is first thought to have been used in 2012 by a trans porn actress going by the name of Drew DeVoe. She no longer works in the industry, and I have not been able to contact her. However, I spoke to a former porn performer and director who believes she inspired DeVoe to use it. Lily Cade, who worked in the industry for 10 years, went by the label Porn Valley's Gold Star Lesbian because she's only had sex with other women. Cool. Lily was asked to do a scene with DeVoe in Toronto and initially agreed after looking at photos of her, but she backed out in advance after discovering online that she was a trans woman. Now, by the way, I just want to say, so far, I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with this. If you don't want to have sex with a person with a penis, that's fine. That's your right. My sex drive is oriented towards women. I couldn't see past the fact that I was interacting with male genitalia altered by surgery and not the reproductive organ of a female ape. Oh, wait, they had bottom surgery? Female ape? I think transphobia might actually be the second worst thing in this paragraph. There's something weirder going on here. Feeling guilty, Lily sent DeVoe an email in which she apologized for being, quote, the worst girl in the whole history of the world. Oof. Major fucking psycho vibes right there. Holy shit. This is such fucking foreshadowing, dude. Holy shit. You couldn't have... This is being written like a fucking horror novella. I felt really bad about the way that I felt about this, and I did feel that way. I made the choice to say something about it and to back out. Lily said she was criticized on Twitter at the time, but only among very fringe queer porno people. Yeah, which is like what? Like 12 people? Jesus. However, in 20... What time? Like 5, 6 years ago? That couldn't have been that many people. However, the concept of the cotton ceiling came to wider attention when it was used at the title of a workshop by Planned Parenthood Toronto. Again, I really don't know who needs to hear this, but underwear is made of cotton most of the time, whether it's for women or for men. Just to inform you. I think that's just generally the fabric they make underwear out of. I don't know why this is the term that they're using. The workshop was about breaking barriers down for queer trans women, blah, blah. Lily said, I thought it was kind of gross. The language is gross because you are evoking the metaphor of the glass ceiling, which is about women being oppressed. So saying that if someone doesn't want to have sex with you, that person is oppressing you. That's not what it's about. It's just about identifying barriers, strategizing ways to overcome them, and building community, but okay. The trans women who led the workshop declined to speak to the BBC, but Planned Parenthood Toronto stood by its decision to hold the workshop. In a statement sent to the BBC, Executive Director Sarah Hobbs said the workshop was, quote, never intended to advocate or promote overcoming any individual woman's objection to sexual activity, end quote. Yeah, no shit, it never said that it was. Instead, she said the workshop explored, quote, the ways in which the ideologies of transphobia and transmisogyny impact sexual desire, end quote. I think that's a valid thing to talk about. And then they go on for a while. Hey, I know this person. Riley, what's up? Having a good one. We talk for a little more on the idea, you know? Having a good time. Learning about stuff. Uncomfortably large photo of a person very close to the camera. Thank you. I don't know what, like, this is a good space for a person to fill up in an article, okay? You know, this is about 1/3 of the vertical length of my screen. This is too much space. This is too much. This is, can I make the joke here? Annie O'Brien, spokeswoman for a New Zealand group called Speak Up for Women. Okay, so it's a turf, thank you. So this person right here, okay, this is too close, and I feel like this is a little too sexually aggressive, okay? When will cis women learn to stop violating my comfort? Annie, who is 30, told the BBC she's concerned for the generation of lesbians who are now in their teens. What we are seeing is a regression where once again young lesbians are being told, how do you know you don't like dick if you haven't tried it? Okay, to be fair, I do think this is a valid thing to be asked of anyone, okay? If so, I think this is a fair thing to say if you're ubiquitous and consistent, okay? Go up to straight dudes. They're like, "Yeah, dude, I like pussy." Maybe you like dick. Nah, dude, I don't. Well, maybe you do. How do you know? Like, I don't think, in and of itself, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you're pressuring people, that's different. But Vaush shaming straight dudes and lesbian chicks. I mean, I'll do anything and everything I can to shame straight dudes. Thank you. I can. Lol, this is such a pancake. Okay, hold on. If you think you're being like invalidated by somebody saying, how do you know you don't like dick if you haven't tried it, then you need to harden the fuck up, okay? Legit. Just this sentence, like, you read this and you're like, oh my God, my identity. Like, come on, chill, okay? There's a huge, if somebody's saying this to you and they're like leaning over you at a bar, like pressuring you, like obviously that's fucking bad, but that's not what we're talking about here. Anyway, we get told we should be looking beyond genitals and should accept that when somebody says they're a woman and that's not what homosexuality is. We get told we should be looking beyond genitals and should accept that someone says they're a woman and that's not what homosexuality is. Oh, okay, yeah, so they're saying trans women are women, right? You don't see as many trans men interested in gay men, so they don't get it. What? Wait, I know plenty of trans men who are into gay men. Wait, I think literally every single trans man that I know is interested in men, either because they're gay or pan. By trans men, do they mean trans women? I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know. Then we have a collection of tweets. Very good research here, and I've decided I don't care. So why did we go over all of that? Well, first of all, I think it's incredibly important for us to point out that this is cringe. Okay? So this was put out, let me be clear, by BBC News. It's not just some like random op-ed that was tossed out there in like the shit end of the toilet site, okay? This was put out there by the news, and it's just a collection of anecdotes and at most one survey with 80 respondents, which we quadrupled, by the way, in 30 seconds, which was done within a community that is also a hate group. Yeah, this isn't a Medium article. This is BBC News. That's the reason why it got so much attention. So I just want to say right off the bat, okay? The fact that this is considered worthy of a news article is despicable and a serious black mark on BBC's journalistic credibility. I don't know what kind of insane fucking concussion-induced decision-making was made behind the scenes to lead anyone to believe it was acceptable to produce this as news. This would be garbage as an op-ed. As a news article, it is unacceptable. This isn't even just about transphobia, by the way. This is about the basic standard of journalistic credibility that all organizations should be held to. Thank you for the links. Even if there wasn't any transphobia, even if it was a completely impartial, defensible even if it was a completely defensible sentiment, the standard for acceptable journalism here is dramatically lower than what it should be expected to be. And do you know why it is? I can't know this for sure, but I'm willing to infer. It's because of transphobia, folks. They wanted to capture an audience of transphobes by pushing this out, and the best they could do is a hodgepodge collection of anecdotes, because this is always how racists, sexists, transphobes, whatever, best deliver their messaging. You have the poor, threatened, woeful lesbians, at least a few of them, who already have an ideological bias towards transphobia, and a couple of tweets, and you throw it all together with a Twitter poll, and this is news, essentially. Can you imagine, and I'm being serious, by the way, and I think this is a very fair comparison. Can you imagine if something like this was done with race relations? Imagine if this level of journalistic standard was applied with this level of bias to a racial issue about people who live in inner cities saying that they fear black people, and like you have a couple of anecdotes from like some white people who say they got mugged by a black guy once, and then they take an 80-person Facebook poll from a hate group saying that yeah, actually they've been like mugged by black people. That is literally what we're talking about. That is completely analogous. 100% completely analogous. It is exactly the same thing. If we saw anything like that come out as a news article, if that came out as an op-ed, by the way, there would still be a furious backlash, just as an op-ed. But as a news article, if something like that were to come out, it would be unfathomable. It would be insane. And the thing is, by the way, if anything, that would actually be more legitimate, because at least when you're mugged, something happened, but a lot of these anecdotes are just about people feeling threatened. So it would actually be like a race-based article where they polled people who said they felt like they might be mugged by black people. Like, some of them are like, yeah, I have been. Others are like, oh, well, yeah, it could happen, I guess. And they just put those together. And then they have a couple of tweets from, like, black people who tweeted in 2018 saying, like, white people need to stop fear-mongering about black people mugging them. And they got ratioed because some, like, alt-right YouTuber quote tweeted it or something. And they're like, bam, there you go. This person says you shouldn't complain, huh? This person says you should shut up, whitey. And it's got, like, quotes from, like, hate groups that are obsessed with, you know, not like removing like woke racial like guys, is this not analogous? Do you think I'm making this up? Do you think I'm being hyperbolic here? Do you think this is ridiculous? I think this is perfectly analogous. If you want to, you can make the argument maybe that like race issues are more serious, like historically, like there's more like blood on the line, I guess. But in terms of like the ideas that are being presented, the biases that are being reflected and signal boosted, it seems to me like it's essentially identical. A drastic reduction of acceptable journalistic quality put forward because the BBC is either staffed by people who are transphobic or want to make money inciting outrage and discourse over transphobia. Either way, it's despicable. And the BBC has rejected complaints about its article. They said that this article has met their standards for journalistic credibility. They say they're committed to covering different viewpoints in the name of impartiality, which is a lie, by the way. That is a lie that they're saying. The BBC is not committed to impartiality to the extent that they would publish what anti-black hate groups would have to say about black people in a long news article full of tweets and anecdotes from people who say they're afraid of them. That would not pass their standard of journalistic credibility, I think. But you have this. Now, I can't prove it did or didn't pass their internal standard for credibility. All I can do is say that really says a lot about their standard of credibility. Tweets, anecdotes, and an 80-person poll from a Facebook group. They lied about other trans women not being interviewed. They just didn't publish them. Do you have proof of that, Mad Hatter? That they lied in the original article? Do you have proof of that? Or can you link me proof of that? I'll find the tweet. Please do. Thank you. In response to people who said the piece was, quote, transphobic and poorly evidenced, the BBC said, we have a strong commitment to impartiality, right, which means we constantly consider and evaluate which stories to cover and how. Impartiality is fundamental and includes covering stories at any point on the spectrum of debate. That's not what impartiality means, by the way. Impartiality does not mean you should cover all positions regardless of their credibility, the evidence supporting them, or the biases they hold. That's not what impartiality means. In fact, it is the height of impartiality to erroneously juxtapose transphobia and anti-transphobia as though they're equivalent ideologically. The BBC article strongly implied no other trans woman would talk to them, but Chelsea Post 666 did, and she told them about Lily Cade's accusers. In addition to Veronica Ivey, I contacted several other high-profile trans women who have either written or spoken about sex and relationships. None of them wanted to speak with me, but Chelsea is saying they did and just didn't publish it. And not to get ahead of time, but Lily Cade, one of the one of the cis transphobic women in the article, the lesbian porn star who said she was the worst woman in the world, has had a glut of sexual assault allegations thrown against her, some of which she has apparently admitted to. So not only did this article evidently talk to another prominent trans person and not publish of that information, but one of the cis lesbians who's terrified of the alleged predatory nature of trans women they did publish is herself a serial predator. Jesus Christ. I still have the Zoom call in my DMs. Apparently, Chelsea has evidence that she actually talked. And good on her, by the way, for recording that. I can't believe the BBC would be so fucking dishonest. Like, legitimately, I don't exactly have, like, high standards for the BBC or anything like that. But this is an incredible low. An addendum to Trans Activism UK's open letter to the BBC regarding Lily Cade. Transphobes are very dedicated to their work. Oh, hold on. This is the no spoilers, guys. We're almost there. So anyway, the BBC sucks. Very nice. Thank you. So anyway, Lily Cade, the aforementioned serial predator who we just talked about, now we get back to what Celine linked, where they had a bit of a Joker moment, which has been known to happen, you know, to all of us. But this one was this one wasn't a Heath Ledger Joker moment. This was more of the Suicide Squad Joker, Jay Leno, right? It wasn't a good one. It was a pretty bad one, actually. Jared Leto. Jay Leno's another one. Sorry. Hold on. Sorry. Sorry. This was a Jared Leto. Yeah, this is a Jay Leno. Doesn't he kind of look a little bit? Come on. Tell me he wouldn't make a kind of Joker. Like, come on. Look at him. Come on. He totally would. So anyway, Jay Leno Joker. Let's go. Speak truth to power. I'm gonna get so fucking clipped if I read this out loud. Trans women are men. They know they're men. If these men can't slit the throats of these vile persona in public, admit what they've done, take off the dress, look in abject shame. I'm not reading all of this. If you left it up to me, I'd execute every last one of them personally, is what Lily Cade said in this deranged thing. Cancel this, cancel everything. I want to kill all these people, get the wall, put them in the rope, kill. Ironically, trans women are rapists. Again, this is a serial rapist we're talking about here. Kill. Trans women are evil pedophiles who have twisted the minds of your people so badly with annoying, ugly, stupid language, said Lily Cade. Oh, right, the British accent. That your children are mutilating their bodies to please him. These people understand attention. Attention is the currency of your horrifying society. Teenage girls want attention more than anything else on earth. They have been offered a choice between mincing TikTok whore and navel-gazing, spoiled, rotten, weak, pathetic, fake man victims because you sold them out for the smartphone. She is British, right? Lily Cade is American? Look, it's deranged, okay? Read the whole thing, but with an American accent. but I'm the American accent. Which, yeah. No, yeah, she's British coded, okay? She hates trans women. She's British coded, okay? An honorary Brit. Thank you. So we go now to this. Jesus, I can't even read this. God, can you just read this in your heads? Are you reading it in your head? Yeah, I can't. I'm not clipping myself, dude. I'm not getting clipped. In addition to this, she again admitted to being a rapist on the website prior to being taken down, further supported the allegation against her. If a rapist is someone who's accused in public of sexual misconduct, then I am a rapist. Look, if you want to go read the whole thing, you can. I'll read it out loud for a Patreon episode. No, I won't. That's a joke. Again, I'm just not getting myself clipped here. If I was a video essayist, I could like bleep out the words and stuff and nobody would clip me for it, but whatever. Anyway, look, here's the point I'm laboriously trying to get to, okay? Very, very important, okay? So what have we established thus far? So the BBC, the sort of the premier journalistic outfit of Britain, has a standard for journalistic credibility which was lowered drastically so they could publish as news what was essentially a collection of hate groups' opinions on trans people, anecdotes, and ratioed tweets, putting together an extremely transparent bias and framing it as news. And what's more, they did so while lying, removing the input of trans women who disagreed with this article's narrative, while saying that none of them actually wanted to speak on it. One of the cis women they brought on to give her perspective is a literal serial rapist who not days after the publication of this article posted what is essentially a Day of the Rope fantasy tier manifesto calling for the lynching of trans women. And the BBC has claimed that none of this violates their standards of journalistic integrity. If I was a different YouTuber, I could spend 5 minutes like screaming about how bad this is, but you guys already know how bad this is. It's absolutely disgusting. In no just world should any of the people of the BBC associated with the publication of this news article have a job. I do consider it a violation of the public trust, and I do consider it essentially complicitness in an act of hate against the trans community. They should all be fired. All the people who contributed to that article should be ashamed, and I hope that Rose of Dawn is particularly happy that she got put in an article alongside somebody calling for her death. Rose of Dawn actually did tweet about this. The following two statements can be true at the same time. Lily Kate is unhinged, has called for the deaths of trans women, and has faced accusations of sexual assault. And also, some lesbians have faced pressure to date trans women under threat of being labeled bigots. And you can big bull seal your way out of this as much as you want, but at the end of the day, who you're put alongside says a lot about you. And you appeared in an article along somebody so unhinged that 5 days after that article got published, they were posting hate screeds about how you deserve to hang at the end of a rope. So I feel like you might have chosen the wrong crowd, okay? If you're and I'll say the same thing. I'm ubiquitous with this. Like all of those like non-white alt-righters who like were around for when all of their heroes invariably, betrayed the fact that they weren't just white nationalists, but were also white supremacists. Do you guys remember that? Remember how they were all at first like, dude, we just think different races would be better in different countries, bro. All the other races are like, look, we're all got our own thing going on, We're not like better or worse, but like obviously they were all white supremacists, and that actually led to infighting when they were all like, oh, well, you're a quarter white, you're a quarter black, like that shit, it says a lot. It's meaningful information there. Good stuff. I don't have anything more to say about this dog shit article except for the fact that I hope the people associated with it step in dog shit. So